team. And another girl that looks pretty good to me that happens to live in Las Vegas and play for the Raiders. So if y'all don't start to address my contract issue, then I can create problems too. See? See me? Look. That's what he's saying. Because he's mentioning and talking about a quarterback and a team, and he's using our friendship to be able to talk about that and sending that little bit of message. In the end, he says, well, we'll see. I'm a Packer for now. So he's playing a little bit of game. That's okay. That's where it's at.
Monica, how much does it, from an athlete standpoint, how much you want to play with your friends or how much you just want to get paid?
Paid over friends. I think paid over friends. I'm trying to get paid over friends. Unless my friends are in a position to actually win. And I don't know that Davante Adams becoming a Raider puts him in a position to win. Now, listen, we got to see if Aaron Rodgers is returning, is Jordan Love formidable, all of that good stuff. But I'm definitely choosing my bag over playing with my friends. We can go on vacation together when I get paid.
No, but he's going to get the bag. He's
going to get the bag anywhere.
If he was able to somehow wrestle his way away from Green Bay next year, he's going to get the money from anywhere. Anybody's going to pay him. That's not the issue. And if he made a decision that the Raiders was a destination that he wanted, what will the Raiders look like? Is Carr going to be the quarterback? Is John Gruden coming back after a dismal season again this year?
Wait. Are we already calling a dismal season? I mean, this was a top 10 scoring offense last year and a dismal defense. They make a change at defensive coordinator. It's that time where we can all be positive, Key. Let me be positive about it.
Your voice going up.
No, I know, but how many DCs have they gone through since John's been there?
753 roughly, but don't Google it. That's not an exact number. No, you're right.
They've gone through three DCs, right? They're on the third DC.
Bradley's the second DC, right?
No, Rob Marinelli took over.
No, Rob Marinelli was just he was interim at the end of the year last year.
Okay. I mean, I count that.
Okay.
Right? When you count an interim head coach, this is his fifth head coach in 2 years, right? They do that. So the defense, obviously, for the Raiders was certainly a problem. The offense at times, dink and dunk to score points. It's the typical John Gruden West Coast system. Nothing's changed. I just don't know if you can keep broken promises to Raider fans. And I bring that up because I know we look at the 10-year, $100 million deal.
It hurts,
Monica. And say to ourselves, well, you gave him a 10-year deal. You really think that the 10-year deal don't have an out in there somewhere? Of course it does. No owner's just going to hand the dude a check, no matter how silly you might think the owner is. They're just not doing that. At some point, you have to produce and get wins. You just do.
That does speak to the general perception, which, in fairness, for a lot of Raiders fans, is that Mark Davis would just do anything, and I think he's been underestimated several times as an owner. Nobody thought he could get a new stadium for free. He did. Nobody thought he could relocate the team. He did. Nobody thought he could get Gruden there in the first place. So maybe we're underestimating Mark Davis in this process. But you're also talking about the Raiders, frankly, like they're coming off a 4-12 season. This is not Jamarcus Russell's Raiders. At least they were an 8-8 team last year that comes
in.
8-8
every damn year.
I'll take that after years of 3-13. My God.
But then at what point do you turn the corner?
So I will tell you, this is very true. I'm just speaking from a fan standpoint.
This is morning therapy here.
I remember a very specific game that Keyshawn remembers very specifically too. I remember after the Raiders lost the Super Bowl.
Oh, did they? Oh.
Yeah. I was sitting there with my buddies who had drank all my beer and left my house, and I had nothing left in there other than my sadness. And I said to one of my friends at the time, because the Raiders kept losing in the playoffs every year during that Rich Gannon era, and I said, you know what? I'd rather not even make the dang playoffs than watch this. I said that out loud, and it's my fault. I mean, since then, the Raiders haven't won a single playoff game. There's only been one.
Well, here's what I would
17
say.
years.
Here's what I would say. I'll still never understand why they got rid of Jack Del Rio and Reggie McKenzie.
Me either.
I'll never understand that. That's just, I kind of understand it. I kind of know, why they did it, but I'll never understand it. When you had Carr and Jack Del Rio, first of all, they would have been good had Derek Carr not hurt his ankle, or was it his ankle?
His leg.
Right? His leg. He was playing at an MVP level. They go to Houston, they lose to a young Deshaun Watson playoff team. And
spicy.
With their third-string quarterback, they lost that game.
What was the dude's name that played quarterback?
Was it Connor Cook, the Michigan State
Cook? It was somebody who wasn't very good. And then they come back, they have a lousy year, then all of a sudden Jack Del Rio's gone, in comes John Gruden. I wouldn't have made that change if I was running the team. I would have figured out how to retool the situation along with Reggie McKenzie because they were selecting players and doing the right things at that point in time. John wanted to blow it up. He blew it up. He wanted it his way, which is fine. Since having it his way, they start off hot, and then they get you one little win a year, whether it's a Kansas City or somebody. You go, oh, my God, they're on their way. And then again, they break your heart. I don't see where anything will be different this year or next year if this was the same group kept together, especially in a division with Patrick Mahomes and an emerging, I almost call them the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers.
And I don't disagree with a lot of that, Key. I do think one thing about the Derek Carr conversation is that every year we decide that this is the last year for Derek Carr. Fact is, the Raiders had the opportunity this season, the season before that, to draft a quarterback. They didn't. They've had the opportunity to go out and sign a quarterback. They didn't. Every time we talk about speculation around Carr, all they do is run it back with Carr, who, by the way, has an incredibly good, he has a very good value contract. So he's a good quarterback with a good contract that they're year to year on this point. I don't know why we all think Carr's 1 foot out the door. I don't see the Raiders pressing the reset when they haven't done it yet.
Because it's John. Everybody goes off Coach Gruden. You got to think about his last coaching tenure prior to the Raiders. He went through like a bag of quarterbacks. You know how you go through a bag of Cheetos? He went through a bag of quarterbacks.
Golly.
Every time you look up, he was never satisfied with the quarterback. He was always complaining about quarterback. And in this situation with Carr, that's kind of, he's not complaining about him, but we know him enough to know that if he had an opportunity, he would go get another guy because that's just who he is.
Yeah, and it fits like Gruden, the TV person now, coach, like all that. It totally fits Gruden, but it is weird, Fitz, to your point, because Kai has made statements that have been a little bit of head scratchers in terms of his loyalty to the organization for on the back end to have a coach that has not necessarily said, this is my guy going forward. I am confident, right? Like we play it season by season. So the whole thing is just.
I mean, Carr's also wired differently. He said after his rookie year, pretty openly, he almost got out of football altogether to go into ministry. So, like,
yeah, he's just a different
wired dude. I think the hard part about it is everybody. You mentioned Mahomes, and we know this in all sports. When you're in the same division as one of the best, like
it's gonna be tough.
Every year you're going to be chasing Mahomes, but.
Everybody's chasing Mahomes.
Or you're going to be chasing Justin Herbert, who's chasing Mahomes, or you're going to be chasing potentially Aaron Rodgers in the Denver Broncos, who's chasing Justin Herbert and Mahomes. So the division is going to get tougher depending on who goes to Denver at the quarterback spot. If Aaron Rodgers lands in Denver, now what?
Is Aaron Rodgers sitting around in your mind with Davante saying, hey, wait, here's what I'm thinking next year, going to go here. Maybe we do this together.
No, it's too premature.
So wait, but I'm glad you actually threw that Aaron Rodgers thing in. You think he's going back for the sake of his teammates?
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he will.
Yeah, and I don't think Green Bay's going to bend on it. Like,
I don't think he's bending.
The way Green Bay has handled this so publicly, I feel like the Packers are going to look at him and say, cool, you want to write us a $30-something million check to go away? Because that's what he'd owe the organization if he chooses to retire. Other than that, they hold his rights. Like,
it depends on how strongly he feels from the standpoint of disliking Mark Murphy, the president, and Brian Gutekunst, the general manager. How is there really this dislike? Because when you dislike somebody and you check out, no amount of money can keep me there.
Yeah, but
as a professional athlete.
Conversely,
if you think about basketball, Fitz, what did James Harden tell the Houston Rockets? Man, you keep that $100 million.
Yeah.
You keep the $100 million over 2 years. I want out.
Listen, I think we're here. I think we are here in football. And I think Aaron Rodgers is the first guy to do it.
I don't think we're here in football. I think Aaron Rodgers is trying to do it. But I think the way Mark Murphy has handled it, even being in the press, being like, oh, he's an interesting dude or complicated, whatever. Like, you look at these things, to me, the Packers are dug in. And Jordan Love is not somebody they wanted to put on the field this year. So if they can,
early.
Right. So if they can make Aaron Rodgers the bad guy, hey, we're forced to do this because he's walking away from the team. I mean, that feels like the approach the Packers are taking so publicly. Anything they get back for Aaron Rodgers now, if they were to trade him wouldn't even benefit them in this first year of Jordan Love being stuck in this like platform as the replacement for Aaron Rodgers. So there's no win for Green Bay immediately, which means there's no reason to actually trade him. I mean, if I ran the Packers today, as much as we can say it's a short-term thinking, there's so much pride involved on both sides. I don't know why I would trade him when it's not going to benefit me until long after the book is out on Jordan Love and whether or not he's any good.
Well, you can maximize
The value.
the value now versus later. And
But
I
they
know-
could have done that before.